Hi guys, my name is Ivo and I'm from mytestedasp.net. In my previous video, we kind of introduced to my algorithm the deep equal result object, and it turned out that it's working correctly for now, so that's a step forward. And before we continue our journey to introduce this new functionality, I would like to say that if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you check my previous videos where I explain the deep equality algorithm I'm using and how I implemented it. And if you want me to cover more algorithms in the future, just let me know down below in the comments. And also, if you like live coding sessions like this one, where I implement different kinds of features in my projects, let me know too, so that I will continue recording other programming sessions where I'm just implementing features which I find interesting and from which I think people will learn something. Okay, so let's see how many bugs we have. I'm going to introduce another overload of the same method, which will return the result so that we can test whether it's working, whether it's not working, and essentially what's going on around here. Are deeply equal. So, but I don't need that, but first, no, let's do it like that. I'm going to say are deeply equal out deep equal result like this, and I will still return a bool. Why I'm doing that is because that's okay for now, is because if I want to use this overload, it's still working. For example, here it's working fine, but if I want to use it with a report, I can say out report, out var result, which will give me the result, and I'm going to use it. So essentially, the places I will need a report, I'm going just to provide it as a third parameter of the method, and it will be working. This way, I'm saving myself from a lot of work to rewrite every piece of code which is using these methods. So, okay, let's essentially what we need to do here, we need to have a result object, which is new deep equal result. Initial expected name, I'm just going to say that I'm going to, oh, I almost forgot. Let's commit, because currently we have a working solution which is not completely ready, but I changed a lot of stuff, so it's better to commit just to check what's going on. And what I did, I have a bool, success, failure, failure, blah blah blah. Looks fine. Still bool, result failure, looks fine, blah blah blah, looks fine. Okay, good, looks okay. Great, these two files are just, I just changed some styling. So deep equality algorithm now uses returns a report result. I'm going to say that this issue is for this commit is for the .NET Core 3.0 support. I already have support for .NET Core 3.0, but it's in a preview, and in the final version I want to provide that enhanced functionality. These JSON files here just have to be cleaned, but I'm not going to include them, and I'm going to clean them later. The quality algorithm now returns a report result. Cool. So I'm going to push that. Okay, so let's return to our result equals deep equal result. I'm going to say that actual .get type .name, but what will happen if both are no? So let's write it like that for now. Good. If they are no, I won't be able to report anything, but normally people want tests with no, so for now it's okay. If I see that something is not working quite right, I will change that logic. Then I'm going to call R deeply equal, the R deeply equal method with the expected actual, and I'm going to give a new conditional weak table, and I'm going to provide the result object. Then I'm going to say return that. So by calling these methods, we are going to be able to validate whether the result works correctly. Cool, now let's write some tests. Lots of tests here, lots of tests. Okay, R deeply equal should work correctly with same references. Okay, yep. I'm going to write another one, public void R deeply equal should report correctly for now. Okay, first let's try it with two objects which are different with one property. We will need to test normal objects, we will need to test primitive types, we will need to test comparables, nested objects, collections, and so on. I'm going to write tests for during the video. I'm going to write tests for the most common ones just to make sure that our logic is correct, and then I'm going to stop the video because all the other functionalities are going to be just unit tests, so it's not going to be that interesting after we implement the initial problems and after we solve the initial problems of our algorithm. Okay, so we have two different objects, and I will say var assert true. It's false because the objects are not correct. Reflection dot are deeply equal, and I'm going to use the second overload here. I'm going to say first object, second object, var out var results, like this. And then I will be able to see what's the result. So let's debug that. I expect actually nothing. I don't expect it to work. But let's see, and let's see how to improve the whole experience. Okay, the result is here. So the result is false, which is correct. Expected value is 1 and the actual value is 2, which is also correct. Let me go here. Which is also correct. So I expect 1, but I receive 2. Let's see the paths. That's the interesting part. Expected path, I have nested model integer and actual paths nested model integer. I'm surprised that works. Very nice. Okay, so let's enhance our object. That works for normal objects. We don't have a recursion yet. We don't have nested objects. We don't have collections. I expect a huge failure here and there. But let's introduce the toString method, which is essentially the error. I'm not going to need that. Error path. I'm using this. The result is fine because I'm using it for the cast. Apply path, apply values. These are fine. And I'm going to public override string. So here I will just expected path parts. Okay. Var expected parts, expected path, string dot join. Join that by a dot and this. I'm going to write the same for the actual path, which is actual path parts. Cool. So return, I'm going to need to return only what kind of message I need. Currently, the tests we saw that to be the given model, but in fact it was a different one. Okay, difference occurs. Is that written correctly? Yep. Different occurs at, I'm going to show expected path, but I will need to change something here, but okay. If expected path equals actual path, the idea here is that if the values are different, the paths should be the same. So if the path is model.title and one of the values is, for example, new C# and the other is new C# with words, then the paths will be model title. So this is expected path. If the paths are not equal, then the paths are the problem. For example, I have more elements in one collection. Or for example, the types are different. So the message should be different here. Yep. There should be different messages. Okay, for now let's leave it like that, and we're going to improve the messages when we write more tests. Different occurs at expected path. Okay. Expected value is this dot expected value but the actual result is, let me see how I write my errors. To have entry with the provided, but one was found. To have entry with key and value of, in fact, expected a value of 10, 12, whatever, value of, you see more errors. Expected a value, but in fact it was this dot actual abyss. I'm going to improve something here. Here where I say get type dot name, I'm going to say I'm going to need extensions using. I have lots of helper extension methods and I'm going to use them. I have one which says friendly type name, which essentially writes no and writes friendly anonymous types and writes friendly generic types. So I'm going to use that here. For expected type name equals this, where actual type name equals actual get type to friendly type name. I'm going to use that here and that here. Good. Let's return to the message. Difference occurs at expected get error message name. I had a method which includes quotes for me, which is nice. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say get error message name, no camel case. Cool, that's fine. Guys, I'm just making the error message look more like all the other error messages in the library. That's the whole idea here. Okay, so now I can test that. So I can say assert equals, and I can say I expect some string here and result to string. Are deeply equal should report correctly with normal objects. I'm going to reuse the same, yeah, with normal objects. I managed to make it the same. I would like to be the same, so I'm going to need to test that with primitive types too. So, okay, with normal objects, and the string result should be like this. So difference occurs at nested object dot integer. That's the name of the property. But I would like to put quotes around that. So I would need to have them here too, and expected a one value, but it was 2. Expected value of 1. Sounds better. Expected value of 1, but in fact it was 2. Sounds better, I believe. Okay, so expected value of 1, but in fact it was 2. Good. Let's run that and see what's going on. Nested object dot integer. And not nested model. Oh, I have written the wrong class name. Okay. In fact, it was 2. I'm missing. This is the fun part of writing unit tests. Fixing stupid things, like a quote, for example, but now it should work correctly. And cool. Our algorithm is working fine with normal objects. Let's try collections. So I'm going to copy some sort of a collection, for example, this one. With void are deeply equal should report correctly with collections. So we have this and out var result. I'm going to, actually I don't know what will be the code difference occurs at listed list of int.count, great. Expected value of 4, but in fact was 3. Looks okay. Okay, but what will happen? Oh, let's write that test and XUnit was not happy that I was passing the expected value second. Okay, that's fine. What will happen if I have different value like that? I cannot okay, good. So text equals, so far no bugs. Expected a value of 4, but in fact was 3. Expected a value of 4, but in fact was 3. Okay, so let's continue with our debugging experience. Let's see how this will not work, or will it? Text difference occurs at list of int 3, expecting the value of 4, but in fact was 5. Not sure how to save that, to remove that dot, but I believe it's fine if we have it. I'm going to hack that. String join dot replace looks kind of nice, so I'll need to do that here, but copy pasting is not, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I will fix it later. Okay, so very nice. So assert result to string this. Let's try with nested collection. Oh, I did the same mistake again. Shame, 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 shame. Okay. Nested collections. Let's copy something from somewhere. What will happen with dictionaries? let's try nested objects first. Like very nested objects. Like these two. We have a difference. Where is? These are true, actually. So these are false because this string is different. That would be a nice test. Assert false are deeply equal. Out result. And let's see the result from that. So far, so good. We have a huge success. I didn't expect it. Difference occurs at nested model dot integer dot string dot num dot nested dot integer dot string dot equality operator. Expected the value of test2, but in fact was test1. Here's the first bug, guys. And yeah, that kind of didn't look right. What I copied, I need that because that's the objects. So what's the problem here? The problem is that properties are applied even if they are correct, and I don't care about that. But I care if I need to go 3 levels deep and then I find the error. So essentially I will need a stack. Yep. So I will need a stack. New stack. New stack. This dot expected path parts add push initial expected name. This dot expected path parts push initial actual name. But like this. And I'll rename that to push path and that to push path. And I'm going to call push here. And push here and push here and push here. And then I'm going to need to pop path. This dot expected paths pop. This dot actual paths pop. Return this. Good, so I will need now to, actually I have never used that. Interesting, maybe I don't need that method. Okay, let's, actually maybe I don't need paths to have more than one path. We'll see. Maybe not. So push path, push path, push path. I'll need to pop now. I'll need to push here. And here is a failure. If it's a failure, I don't need to pop it because I need the failure to be part of the result. And if properties are the same, essentially, I won't need the path. Okay, let's see what's going on. So let's see whether we fixed our first bug. The proper result should be nested model.nested.string. Assert equal failures. Difference occurs at integer nested model. Yeah, the stack is popping in the different directions, so I'll need to call it like this. Since the stack was popping from top to bottom, my properties got reversed. Let's see what's going on now. Nested model.nested.string. Nested model.nested.string expected the value of test2, but in fact it was test1. Nice, this works. Equality operator. That equality operator is a bit too much in the message, I believe, because that's the default quality operator. So strings are compared if equals operator result and expected type is not type of string type, then push that. If we don't need to have that equality operator on strings. It's too obvious. It just makes the message uglier. Difference occurs at nested model.nested.string. Expected the value of this. Great. I have nested model, nested string, and that's the difference. Very nice. We fixed our first bug. So assert dot equal this one and result.toString. Good. Very, very good. Let's see what else to test. We have quite a lot of stuff to test. For example, what happens with dictionary with model and dictionary with nested model, but that's for later. Let's see first the easy tests. Let's see how our algorithm works with primitive types. For example, with date time. That's an interesting case. I should have copied the whole unit test. So I'm going to are deeply equal should report correctly with primitive types. Let's test for one by one. I'm going to outvar result, and I'm going to write here result.toString. I'm not going to do the debugging for all of these values. We need to check only a few of them. So done. Difference occurs at int 32. Expected a value of 1, but in fact was 1. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If this dot result, if the result is true, which means we compare the object successfully, there should not be an error message. Objects are deeply equal. That's it. So essentially, I don't need to test anything here. I need to start from here. But we saw that I believe objects are deeply equal. What? That's not true. Where result is true when we have a false value. Yeah, I know why. Because this is the check return expected to string and actual to string. We don't set the state of the result. So I will need to say That's ugly. That's very ugly. I don't like it. Return that, and if it's true, return result success. Otherwise, return result failure. And that's it. Second bug, guys. We have two bugs. I bet we have more than 5. Just because. I don't trust myself. I'm a good programmer, but I don't trust myself. So, difference occurs at int 32. Expected a value of 1, but it facts with 0. Perfect. So, guys, do your unit tests. Look how many bugs we catched. Okay, let's test no values. But not result. But I would like to make that a bit faster, and I'm going to write all of the test cases. I'm going to test not result. I'm going to extract them. So I don't need to test with more than one primitive value. So I don't need another string. I don't need characters, doubles, decimals, booleans. That's funny. Okay, I will check that. But I would like to, for sure, to assert the date times. That's interesting one. So let's debug that and see whether we have bugs. No. My breakpoint should have been here so that I can validate the different messages. So difference occurs at int 32, expected value of 1, but in fact it was no. That's very nice. That's actually pretty good. No, I'm going to write it like that. But if we reverse that, we're going to have a hard time because no does not have a type, and it will be ugly. It will be difference occurs at no. I'm 100% sure because I'm using the expected type first. Difference occurs at no. Expected a value of no, but in fact it was 1. So we need to fix that. There's no way initial expected name, but if it's no, use the other one. Here too. If it's no, use the other one. At least one of these will be fine. There's something fishy going on here. That won't work. I'm still not convinced I need 2 paths. Actual path is still not used. but at least that will work. I'm going to clean that code later. For now, let's test and fight bugs. Difference occurs, and this time it's correct. So we fixed another bug, 3. 3, guys. Let's see whether we have 5. With this right, I believe we have 10. Let's go to the next one. Objects are deeply equal. Yeah, right. We have bug after bug after bug after bug. I will need to fix that. There is no need to not reuse. This one should reuse this one. Okay, so why do we have bug? Where we check for strings, string. Objects are equal. It's not true. Here it is. Here it is. The same drill like before. So let's restart. Bum. Text is difference occurs at string. Expected a value of test1, but in fact it was test2. Sure, but let's improve that. I don't like difference occurs at string or at int. It's too obvious. So we're going to do something else, and I'm going to write it like that. Expected path parts count resolution does not equals 1. Then I'm going to write the full path like this. Otherwise, string empty. But let's extract it. Path message equals this. If we have more than one element, it means that we're testing a property, we're testing a collection, we're testing anything. But if we don't have it, then it's not needed. I don't want to see that 1 is an integer. This does not bring any significant value. So if you're testing primitive types, we should receive a better message. So expected the value of test 1, but in fact this was test 2. Great. Then let's test this. Expected the value of 1, but in fact it was 1. So how many bugs? 95, I believe, already. Okay, so here we have another situation. The situation is that if the types are different, we need to provide a different method. So if we have only one path, we will need to yeah, okay, it should be above, but only but if we have one, we then need to check the types. Var expected type equals I'm going to reverse that. If it's only one, we need to check the type. So I'm going to say expected. The first part essentially is the first part is essentially the type we're checking for. For example, if it's a string, if it's an int, and if these two are different, if expected type is different than the actual type, then we need to return another message. Expected a value of int32 type, but in fact it was actual type. And I'm going to get these because we may have no's. I believe that broke our previous problem. No, it's fine. It should be fine. Let's validate everything already. Text is expected value of 1, but in fact it was no. Cool. Text is expected the value of no, but in fact it was 1. Cool. expected a value of test1, but in fact it was test2. Cool. Expected a value of int32 type, but in fact it was string. Cool. And difference occurs at date-time equality operator. Expected a value of, but in fact it was fair enough. I'll take that. So essentially the primitive types are working correctly. Nice. Now I will need to set the assertions correct, and we can move to the next types, enumerations. I extracted that text. Good. Good. Let me just see. Treat key. Value of friendly type name does not have quotes. So essentially I would need to have the same functionality here. I will need to remove the quotes, remove the quotes, dude. Where are the quotes? Get error message name, no. It's already in a friendly variation, so no. Good. Cool. Why I didn't save that text? After the primitive types, I'm going to run some more difficult tests, and if they are correct, I'm going to stop the video, because we essentially finished the algorithm, we implemented it. I will need a little bit of more work to clean up a little bit here and there, and to commit and push, and it will be done. Maybe I will need to write some additional tests just to improve the code coverage, but nothing more. So difference occurs. So essentially, guys, I don't want to make you wait stupid unit tests. So I'm going to copy something more interesting. For example, these two nested collection, which has a nested object, which is a nested collection, which has a nested object with a nested object. That's completely fine, I believe. If that works, most of the things will work. So let's test with that. I'm going to paste that here. Then I'm going to write that I want out result, var result, and let's see the text. But let's first see where's the difference. Oh, here it is. So essentially we have a nested collection, nested, 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 integer. That's the problem here, and it should be what's wrong with you? Why don't you like me? Like me code, like me, please. Okay, reflection are deeply equal. This is the bracket, so I will need to provide it out result here, or not. Okay, managed. Yeah, okay, got it. So let's see what's going on here, and that would be quite a huge test, which will not work in my opinion because of the list. The problem should happen on the, not the element at index 0, but the element at index 1. So the text is nested collection dot nested dot nested dot nested integer 1. Expected a value of 3, but in fact it was 5. Yeah, at least we managed to match all the values. So the values are correct, but the proper here should be nested collection, nested 1, nested here. I need to write that down. It's too much. So we need to have nested collection dot nested dot 1. We're currently here. That's the difference. Then we need to have another nested, which is that one, another nested, which is that one, and then we need to have integer. That should be the correct order of things, but it's not. Apparently, we have 3 nested, which is correct, 1 integer, which is correct. We just need to fix how we push the number. So I believe the stack should work here too. So where are my collections? The collections are here. So I will need to say result push path. Push that here. Then analyze deeply the deep collection, and if it's not a failure, then result pop path. If it's a failure, leave it. A normal recursion with normal stack. If you guys want to know more about recursion or stack, let me know and I will make a video. But in my opinion, stacks and recursion are basic programming. Yeah, it's more difficult than lists, for example, but it's still very basic. But still, let me know. I don't mind if you want to make one or two more beginner-friendly videos. It's fine. And we fixed the bug. So 5 bugs. My initial opinion was correct. Then I said that we were going to have 10 bugs. But I no longer believe that we are going to have 10 bugs. 5, 6, maximum 7 in my opinion. Okay, difference occurs at nested collection dot nested 1 dot nested integer. Expected a value of 3, but in fact it was 5. Great. It's alive, boys. It's alive. And girls, sorry. So, actually, if that test passes, I believe most of our tests will pass, but we're going to test with a dictionary. Because dictionaries are other kind of beasts. So equal, I will need that, and then result.toString. Good. Let me see another interesting example from the normal tests. So enumerations should work, I'll test them later. Comparable model, I'll test that later, that's easy too. Equality operators, objects, datetime now, different kind of true no objects, that's fine I guess, that's different types. Anonymous types, they should work, there's nothing difference between the anonymous type and that, but I will write the test, but it will be later. I don't want to make the video too long with boring unit tests. We're going to make the tests more fun, and I'm going to stop the video. But before we continue with the dictionaries, I almost forgot, but I would like to thank my sponsors, because you may already know, but I'm currently creating these libraries in my free time. For example, today is Sunday. So I accept all kinds of sponsorships, whether it's individual or from companies. I have a Patreon and open collective pages. I also accept PayPal. And if you want to support me, and if you want me to continue producing these videos or creating these projects or whatever you like, you may like me as a person, I don't know, I'll be very thankful. Some companies already are sponsoring me: Softuni, Smart IT, Noblehire, and 1-Bit Software. Softuni, Smart IT, Noblehire, and 1-Bit Software. You guys are truly great, and you're helping me a lot. And to my viewers, if you are wondering what may your next work be, you may take a look at these companies. They are quite cool. And my special sponsor, which helps me with quite a lot of reach, is Bellatrix Test Automation Framework, which is essentially the same tool like mine, but for QAs. So my tool is designed for developers, unit tests, integration tests, acceptance tests, and other kind of tests which normally developers do. And this tool, Bellatrix, is made for QAs. So if you're really into testing, make sure you check them out. Okay, let's return to the code. Nested objects are working correctly. Collections are working correctly. I like the result. Let's test what will happen if we have collections directly. Not object with a collection, but a collection directly. So let's assert that. And we're going to assert dictionaries, and I believe we're mostly done. All the other unit tests will be boring, so, and most likely they won't have any bugs, because essentially we covered almost every part of the algorithm, so it should be fine. Result.string, and argument 2. That should be here. Let's debug that. And let's see where's the error. We have a list. Where's the difference? Oh, here's the difference. It's on exactly there. So we don't have a bug here. Nice. So the error is on the first element in the collection, the string property. Let's change that. Let's make it more hardcore for our algorithm. I'm going to change test 4 to test 3, like that. It should work, but it's better to have more nested objects, just in case. Difference occurs at list of nested model 0, nested string, test of 4, but was test of 3. Looks fine. Looks fine, boys and girls. So we have list of 0, nested string. Nice, very nice. 5 bugs. 5 bugs is kind of okay. For such algorithm, it's nice. It's very nice. As I said, I believe I'm a good programmer, just I don't trust myself. That's why I'm writing more than 2,500 unit tests for these frameworks. More than 2,500 already. Yeah, okay. So result.toString. Cool. Very cool. And let's test with dictionaries, and we are done for today. So I'm going to, these are collections, I'm going to copy the dictionaries test, and I'm going to just delete some of the not needed stuff. So should report correctly. Also keep in mind, guys, that I will still have a little bit of more work to do. I will need to clean these two methods to be, for example, that's wrong here. That should not, that's very bad. But I will need to find all references and fix the testing framework to use the new algorithm, and then I will need to fix all the errors I will receive from these messages when calling this action in this controller, expected response model to be blah blah blah, and then I will need to add the new message which we wrote, the message here. I will need to add that. So I will have more than 200 unit tests to fix. Don't worry, I'm not going to record that because it will be a boring work. But the good part is that our algorithm is kind of nice and it's working kind of good. I'm very happy with the results, and I expected more. I expected to need more time for this, but actually it's very nice. Okay, so first var I'm going to out result, and I'm going to call that. So let's see how dictionaries behave. Maybe we will need to add a specific check for dictionaries, because dictionary string one value. I don't like that. Expected a value, but in fact it was another value. Yeah, that's correct, but I don't like, it should be dictionary string, and it should not be one. It should show another key. The key should be shown here. It's ugly this way, so we need to fix it. And I believe that's where the collections are. So essentially, I'm adding this one if, let me see what's going on here. We will need to debug that to see how to extract the key, because I don't have it here. I have an index, that's why it's using the index. Expected values are dictionary with key and value. Maybe I won't have a choice. Let's see the interfaces. Key value pair, number by dictionary, I read only dictionary, blah blah blah. Nothing to work with. A dictionary maybe. If it's dictionary, I believe this should be a dictionary too. No, it's not. Because it's generic, it's very difficult to extract these values, how to extract the key. Yeah, I may use iDictionary. It's kind of okay. Let's see the key value pair, what's happening here. Key value pairs. How to extract the key from that? Deconstruct. Would I be able to deconstruct that? I may use dynamic, but I don't want to. If it's a dictionary, what does it have? Keys, a collection of keys. Object key. Fortunately, key value pairs are always I cannot cast it to dictionary. Key and value. I may need to use dynamic. Maybe I will think of a better way, but for now it's kind of difficult to think of something better, so I'm going to say var expected value equals that. Var actual value equals that. And I'm going to say if expected value actually I need to check if expected is iDictionary, like that. I will need to push unfortunately I'm not sure whether the value from the key goes. I don't see it. So I would need to say expected value dot as dynamic. That's an extension method I wrote which casts an object to dynamic. And I'm going to say key. Let's see how it goes. A dictionary string another key is good enough, but I don't want to see the value here. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe from here. Yep. Expected is dictionary. If expected is dictionary, push that. Else push the array. I may improve that code by extracting some methods, for example, this one, and so on. But that will not be part of this video. And if I have a failure, I will check again. If the collection is dictionary, I may want to pop, but I don't want to pop if that won't work. If I result pop here, now it's okay, but that won't be okay for nested objects like this. I believe it will eat a key for us. And if it eats a key, I may leave the dot value. That's kind of okay. If I don't think of a way to remove it in the next 2-3 minutes, I will leave it. But let's first see whether it really eats. Dictionary string nested model from key dot value. Yep, it eated the enum part here and not the value, which it will be kind of difficult to process. I may use a regular expression to replace everything that has a key and then a value afterwards. And the key should not be have numbers, but no. If I have a dictionary of ints, it will be exactly the same as having a list of ints. So dot value for now is fine. I will leave it like that. It's completely okay. And if I think of a better way, I'll just implement it. But for now, it's okay. Okay, good. I believe we covered quite a lot already because we've wrote quite a lot of tests. Let me check whether we have something more interesting, and if we don't have, I will just say that we successfully implemented this feature. And if you watched with me until now, I will be very grateful because apparently it's interesting for you, and that makes me happy. Okay, so let's see. We tested with primitive types. We didn't test with enumerations, but that will work. We tested with objects, nested objects too, collections, dictionaries, and apparently everything works fine. So, guys, it was a pleasure, and I still need a little bit of work to clean the code, to think of ways to improve it a little bit. Additionally, let me commit that. Let us first make sure that our unit tests are fine, and I'm going to leave you there because we may introduce a bug when we fixed another bug. So I don't want to leave things half naked. Okay, text. I'm copying that. And the next text is this one. Okay. Good. The moment of truth. Let's run the tests and see what's happening. So abstractions, reflection tests. Let's run the whole abstractions assembly. Let's run that and see what happens. I believe I have an issue for that. Error. Error messages should be more specific. Only 3 years old, 244. So, this one too. Reflection paths. Cool. But this one, 244, I'll use this one, more descriptive error message. Reflection paths. Cool. Everything passes, guys. It's alive. So let's commit that. Let's see what we changed because it's working correctly. We added this new method. We fixed a couple of bugs here. We added some logic for dictionaries. Okay, looks fine. Cool. Very nice. Added tests for deep equality reports. Quality error reports. And I will tag that issue. 149. Okay, guys, great. Thank you for being with me. We implemented quite a lot of stuff. We did quite a good job. We had 5 bugs, which is essentially my initial suggestion for how many bugs we will have. I hope nobody took a bet with me about that. And if you like these kind of videos, live sessions, live coding sessions, where I implement something and where I explain it in my real life projects, which are used by quite a lot of users, let me know and I'm going to continue creating such videos. Otherwise, if you need and want to know something which is considered advanced in C#, let me know and I will add it to my future topics list. Thank you again, and I will appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button, or if you're just finding this video, just subscribe. Thank you very much, and again, any kind of help is more than welcome. You can start my projects, you can support me, you can share them, you can share my channel, whatever you like. Thank you. Bye.